Welcome to Imperfect Momming. Our children are constantly looking to us for examples. The term role model doesn't quite cut it here. We are shaping their worldview with every move we make. You see, it's not in the lectures we give or moments where we are actively attempting to teach them. It's in the micro movements we make, the unconscious ways in which we navigate life. We are constantly teaching our children how to show up for themselves, their friends, their future partners, and even their future children. So what can we do to ensure we are raising thoughtful, compassionate, self-aware human beings? We have to become them ourselves. No one is perfect, but we can still all be better, and it starts with self-healing. Let's get to it. Welcome back to Imperfect Momming podcast, if you are listening there, and welcome to the Raising Enlightened Children Facebook group and our Mom Happy Hour. Did we decide on Mom Happy Hour? Or was it Mom Happy?
People decided on Mom Support Hour.
Mom Support Call. Mom
Support Hour. Yeah, we're still, we're moms, so we get to be flexible and we get to change our minds. We're women, and not to be sexist or anything, but it's just the way it is. So, right?
I love that we get to be flexible, and the flexibility is important in life, and managing our expectations.
Good. True that. Good point.
I think that's definitely a topic for another call.
Definitely.
So, but today we're gonna kind of recap what we've talked about in the past, which was practicing the pause and repairing the connection after we forget to practice the pause. And I was sharing a story of what happened a week or so ago with my son after that call with Melanie, and we thought we'd share the story.
Yeah, I love that. And also, Alysia, I just want to also, when you said that, forget to practice the pause, like sometimes for me, it's not that I forget, it's that, if I'm not in a state where, where my brain is kind of flooded. And so like what I call being in either the red zone or the blue zone, where I'm outside of that green zone, because my amygdala has taken over the frontal lobe of my brain. It's not that I forget to practice the pause, but I'm actually not regulated enough to take that pause. And so it's more of then I go into reaction mode, right? We were talking about the stimulus and the reaction. And so it's important for us. So I'm just sort of presenting this, why it's so important for us to do practices that keep us inside of the green zone so that we can be more intentional to be able to practice the pause. And I know we're doing our self-care workshop in person next week. So for anyone who's in LA, we'll give you more information about that at the end of the podcast, and we'll talk about that next week. We'll flesh that out a bit more, because I was just on this retreat with a bunch of parents and did some, spoke to a lot of them, and it's truly amazing how much guilt we feel, and we don't even realize that we feel guilty that we don't want to take the time so that we are able to practice the pause, and then we're in this situation where now we don't have to, but we get to now use these tools to do the repairs when we could have prevented them so much further back, down the line.
Absolutely. I thank you for adding all of that, because, it's not so much that we forget, but it is that we're not in our calm state, which you mentioned is the green zone, and we're in our fight or flight, which is the red, or our freeze zone, which is the blue. Most likely we're in the fight or flight mode when we respond to our children in a way that we don't intend to. And I was talking with my son about water bottles, because during the pandemic, or after the pandemic, are we after the pandemic? Once
After the height of the pandemic, I
after
would
the
say.
height of it, yeah. So once kids started going back to school, they weren't allowed to use the water fountains in the school to prevent germ spreading. And so kids were encouraged to bring water bottles to school. So we've bought, you know, probably half a dozen of these refillable water bottles that keep the ice cold so that he always has cooler water. And, you know, they're not crazy expensive, but they're not cheap either. You know, they're about $15 a piece. And he had lost 2 in as many days. And so I just brought it up to him as a, hey, let's be more mindful of our belongings and make sure that we're not losing things. And you know, because right now we've lost about $30 worth of water bottles, and the next water bottle that'll make 45. So, you know, this was the tone I was explaining it to him in, but it really did trigger his emotions, and it triggered some guilt for him. And we started talking about, you know, how moms are resourceful, and how when I was a kid, I would lose my jacket all the time. And I think I lost 1 or 2, and then my mom started getting them at the Goodwill, because she couldn't shell out $30-$40 per jacket, or however much they were. I didn't even know. I wasn't even cognizant of the fact that I was doing it. You know, I just remember as an adult her telling me she used to go to the Goodwill to buy these jackets. And I shared that with him, and that wasn't really making him feel better. And it's been a minute, so I'm trying to remember, you know, everything that I did. But ultimately, because of our last podcast, it popped into my mind to ask him if there was something that if he would like to make it up to me, because he was feeling bad about losing, about the money aspect of it. And I said, you know, how about washing my car? You do a really good job at washing my car. And I know it's something that he really loves to do. And he said, absolutely, I'll wash your car. And then it really, I could tell that shifted for him. And then as I was dropping him off for school, I said, Xander, you have a very kind heart. Don't beat it up with guilt. And that was my story.
Oh, what a beautiful what a beautiful exchange, you know, because the reality is, Alysia, like you're saying, I mean, in life, we're just, you know, we're all going to mess up, you know, intentionally, unintentionally. And what a beautiful way to unpack that for him. And then I love the way that you did that, you know, that opportunity for him to do a makeup, letting him know what would make you feel better, and then giving him the option. And I love how you asked him. You didn't just say, you know, well, it would make me feel better if you washed my car. You actually asked, you said, you know, would you like to? And then it left him a choice. And, you know, one other thing on the subject of makeups that we also could do is say, you know, well, some of the things that could make me feel better or would make me feel better is, you know, if you wash my car like that, you know, that could save me money. Or like if there was, you know, 1 or 2, it's not even that way. They also recognize, the person that's doing the makeup recognizes, oh, well, these are the things that are going to make you feel better. It could even be as simple as, you know, you saying you're sorry and or giving me a hug, you know, something like that. But I love how you really, I love how you gave him the choice, and then really just reinforced for him, just about who he is as a person. And I love the way you said that, like, you have a good heart, don't beat it up. That's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Wow. All right. Well, I hope that's going to be helpful to at least one of our moms listening right now. And anyone that listens to this on the podcast. We will unpack further this issue of guilt. Of course, like we said, next week we're doing this. So next week at the St. Martin of Tours School in Brentwood, Alysia and I will be live. We've been hired by the school and it is open to the public. We would love whoever wants to come to join us. The workshop is called Guilt-Less Parenting. And we're really going to unpack some of this guilt that we carry around with us. I was just at this retreat workshop that I was at and spoke to several parents and asked them how they were feeling. And so many of them expressed just feeling guilty, and not when the workshop was over and we got to actually go down to the beach or swim, like how many of them were feeling guilty. And then we'll unpack that more on next week's podcast. And, if anyone wants to come live to learn some more tools next week, we would love to have you. So what we can do is put the flyer in the Facebook group as well, so that the address and information is there, but it's at 6:30 Pacific time next Tuesday in Brentwood, Los Angeles. So Alysia, I don't know if there's anything else. That's all I have for today. And then I'd like to go on to, we'll turn off the live streaming and then we're going to go into the Zoom room so we can meet with some of the moms that are here for support mom hour or mom support hour or happy support. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily have to be happy. So I'm not sure. So yeah, mom support hour. I'm going to land with that right now and we'll see where we.
Mom support hour sounds perfect. And we will, we'll see you in the private Zoom room in a few minutes. And if you're listening on the podcast, come and join us. Next week, we do our mom support hour every Tuesday at 9 a.m. Pacific. We would love to have you and love to support you. And there'll be another podcast episode dropping on Thursday. And until we meet again, keep healing. Bye, guys.
Keep healing. Bye, guys.
Thank you for tuning in to Imperfect Momming. It's time for us to step up and realize that our power is not in trying to shape our children. Our power lies in shaping ourselves into the people we want our children to model themselves after. Don't just do it for your kids. Do it for yourself. When you become a more self-aware, compassionate, and confident person, you and everyone around you benefit. For more information about me and my work, visit AlysiaLyons.com. That's ALYSIALYONS.com. See you next time.